Over the last couple of weeks, we've been looking at a whole host of aspects on how you can study in the UK. What course to pick, how to identify the college that is right for you, visas, scholarships, you name it. Well, we hope it's been of some use to you. Your questions, of course, keep throwing them at us, and we're going to try and get the experts to answer. Today, we have a very bright, young, and accomplished group with us to talk about a whole host of things that perhaps you didn't know studying in the UK brings. And also, all those who want to go to the UK, and some questions are there we are hoping are going to pose directly to this group that has studied in the UK, come back and now very successful in their own right. We have students from one of India's top schools, the Sri Ram School, the British school students as well with us. And like I said, a bright bunch of those who've studied come back and can't wait, I'm sure, to share their experiences with the rest. Thanks all so much for joining us. I'll start by asking you, you've studied in the UK. Now, how did you take the decision? I mean, how did you sort of identify what you wanted to study? Where on the map do you want to go? How does one take that decision?
So I'm a lawyer, so it becomes a little easy for me to shortlist the places that I want to do my master's in, because there are a couple of jurisdictions that you could probably pursue your master's in, so that it gets easier for you. You have the choice to probably come back or stay there. So UK was the obvious choice for me. A lot of the laws in India are based out of UK laws, and there are also authorities in certain other fields. So whenever there is some kind of confusion with respect to Indian laws, we refer to UK laws. So UK was the obvious choice for me, particularly intellectual property law. That was an area of interest. Luckily, I knew that that's the field that I wanted to pursue my master's in.
If I could just ask you, for all those who we've been speaking to, and they've been saying there's just so much on offer. It's just all over the world. There's so much on offer. We just don't know what we are cut out to do. In your experience, what would you say?
I think when you go to college, you don't necessarily need to know beforehand what is it that you want to do when you come out. I think the college education helps you, form your views, and you learn from others. You get a lot of exposure. So when I studied at the London School of Economics, I got an 80% scholarship to study there. The exposure to different fields of work was just so much. I joined Goldman Sachs after LSE because the investment banking was all over. When you go to LSE, you can't help but want to be an investment banker. You can't escape it. But equally, there were enough companies coming on campus for different domains, whether it could be accounting or insurance or even media or international organizations. So I think you have the choice to go and explore different fields and make up your mind what you want to do.
So you're saying that you weren't sort of restricted. It sort of opened up a whole new world. I mean, you name it, and you could have perhaps if you were interested.
Yeah, I'm saying when I went to college, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but when I came out, I knew exactly what I wanted. Is
that sort of your experience as well? Does that really tend to happen? Because I'm sure that will put many people at ease, many students and their parents at ease, that, we constantly told, isko pata nahi hai. It's bilkul nahi pata hai, no idea, So that's kind of anxiety.
Absolutely. So I went to the UK straight after my undergrad in Delhi, and one of the things one of the reasons I chose the UK was it was either the US or the UK, and the UK gave me a 9-month program. So as somebody who's just finishing an undergrad, and I studied social development and human rights, so the University of Sussex gave me that opportunity, and like you were saying, it did open your mind a lot.
And I think it gives a completely different perspective, because you come back with a lot of experience, lot of knowledge, and it's just not knowledge with academics, where you are interacting with so many people, and when you come back, the students that you're teaching, they are the future of India, and you keep talking to them, and you interact with them, and they are, you share your experience with them, and I think, in my opinion, UK gives you the platform and, for a destination where you can actually make it big in your life.
I just want to hear from, say, the students at the back. What is it that sort of you want to do up ahead after school? What's the kind of education are you looking to go, say, out for your undergrad, postgrad? Do you sort of have clarity? I mean, you look really young, but when does it start? Because at the same time, for a lot of people, especially my generation, who had no clue what was going on, there are loads of others now who sort of have the road ahead charted very early on, and they sort of know what they're headed for. What's it like for you?
I mean, right now it's pretty competitive, so people decide at a very early stage Unfortunately, I haven't yet. So
That's okay. There's plenty of time.
Yeah. So I've kept all my options open, but I'm honestly focusing going abroad.
What about you?
I do know I want to stay on in academics, and abroad sort of lets you explore a lot more disciplines because interdisciplinary stuff is it's much more common over there than here in India right now, and that's something that's always interested me. So that's perhaps why I'm looking out.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that I'm pretty clear as to what I want to do. I want to pursue economics and psychology, and actually I was facing problem because many colleges don't offer economics and psychology as a course because psychology is considered as a natural science, whereas economics is social science. But now I found some colleges fortunately in UK that do offer. There's St. Andrews, Durham, and even UCL. And I'm really looking forward to studying in UK because they give you that flexibility and you can choose between different modules. So you have that flexibility and, you know, a global perspective studying at some of the top colleges. So I'm really looking forward to that.
And that global perspective, I think, is something that everyone sort of is in agreement with. Someone mentioned earlier that how, maybe it was you, someone mentioned earlier when we were talking about how, you know, it's like being a global citizen.
I've worked with people who've innovated at that level and who've built companies and who've actually done groundbreaking stuff. So that gives me a huge confidence boost, which tells me that, you know what, I can do and I can innovate at that level as well. And actually go out and deliver in the UK and in India and across the world. So I think it's very important.
And those networks, I would imagine, very important for everybody.
So the idea is that you get connected to such people and they eventually branch out into these different industries and then you have a base. So you have that network and when you're back here, when you're back in India, you can always make use of that network.
I just want to ask another question to all those who've been out, which is, all these are, of course, advantages that perhaps you sort of discovered as you went along. But what was the main reason, the key reason why you chose to study abroad?
I did my master's from London Business School. So one of my major reasons of going to the UK was because of the school, was because of London Business School. And primarily, one, it had a good brand and reputation. Then secondly, it was London. It is historical. It is financial. It is modern. It is dynamic. It is very vibrant. So both the factors. And then again, it had the course of my choice.
Okay.
One of the reasons that why I went to the UK to study was the value that a UK degree adds to your profile. Besides the course that you study, I think what is even more important is that when employers look at you, they identify a degree from a leading UK university with a certain set of skills, a certain set of values, and a certain set of qualities that you possess. So say if I graduate from LSE, my employer would know that I'm very likely to have a good work ethic, good and effective communication skills. I'm going to be having a good understanding of
basically everything that he's looking for.
Yeah, so I think that gives you that edge, definitely gives that edge in the employment sector, be it in India, in the UK, or anywhere else in the world. So that was definitely one of the reasons why I went to the UK. To study.
Has that been your experiences as well?
The industry that I'm in, it's a knowledge-based industry. And that way UK really, really helped me. I studied at King's College London and I studied from some of the best minds there. I've studied from people who've actually written the books, who've actually given out those judgments. So you learn from the best and you learn with people who have either, and varied fields, like they have experience for 10 years. They're lawyers with experience of 10 years and they're fresh undergrads like me. So you're learning in a conducive environment where you can actually discuss with the stalwarts what your views on that particular subject is. So your knowledge base increases tremendously.
In my school, we had very different ways of also, if you talk about career services, we had peer leadership programs in which second year MBAs, they would help us prepare with interview questions. They'll help us, prepare even the personal questions. You had a nice career portal which had ad for jobs from all over the world. We had different networking workshops. So those kind of opportunities are just available there.
So we've been all talking about how the studies over there, but I would also like to add that extracurricular activities and sports is something that really focus on. Like all the UK universities, irrespective whether it's LSE, Manchester, Leicester, they all really focus on sports and there's so many different clubs. So it's a good opportunity for you guys to interact with your classmates, your potential colleagues in future, to kind of gel
Right.
along with them over there.
Right, and that all-rounded development, yeah. Well, are you one of those who's hoping to study abroad? Are you hoping? Yeah.
I would just like to ask those who've studied in UK that what sets UK apart from US?
UK is more global. So like LBS had students from different countries. And just about 4 months ago, I visited the US. My brother is studying at Harvard Business School. You know, you can sense the diversity. There are more Americans over there, while UK is much more global. So it gives you a more international perspective.
Yeah, another point is, you know, an average course in the UK, that is usually 3 years. In the US, most of the courses are 4 years. So you actually end up saving 1 year. Also, UK is in the Europe, right? So you have the opportunity to kind of have a look at 30 different countries.
Right. Right.
Any weekend you can just, you know, kind of plan your schedule and just go for any weekend to any of the countries that are around. So that's really cool, I think.
Right, we've all done that. They say as we talk about traveling and all that that the UK brings. We're slipping into a quick break now. Coming up after that, we've looked at studying and you know the kind of courses that you can study, why, how you choose where you want to be, and all of that. Now we're going to ask those who've been there, what else besides travel? What was all the other cultural experiences that they had? What about all the partying? What about telling our youngsters and all the fun they can have there as well? That's coming up right after this. Studying in the UK and how it molds you, how it makes you the person you perhaps want to be and sets you on the track that you believe will take you to your goal. That's what we're looking at. You've got into LSE, like we've been looking at. I mean, we seem to have really cherry-picked our audience here. But how was it? I mean, just the whole process of getting it. I mean, I'm sure you're living many people's dream. You know that. So what's it like to all those who want to know?
As far as applying to the UK goes, I think I found it a lot simpler than applying to the US, and that's one thing. If you're considering applying to both of them, it's much earlier in the year. You get your results back quicker, which is nice. Basically, you have to focus on your grades and your academic profile if you're applying to the UK. So what I did is I read a lot of books about economics. I figured out that I wanted to study economics. I figured out what I liked. And so I put that all into my personal statement. And the UK is quite straightforward. They realize that they need a certain academic profile. And once they have that, they're more or less content.
How's it been like for you? You're headed to Cambridge, is it?
Yeah, so, well, if you want to apply to Oxford or Cambridge and some other universities, there's like an additional hurdle you have to go through to get in. And that's like the interview. And in the interview, they ask you very academic questions. And they really kind of test out how you would react in an academic situation.
Right. That says a lot about the approach, perhaps.
I have a question to the alumni. So if you apply for, say, economics to the UK, and then, you know, you realize it's not for you, and you want to switch to, for example, engineering, how easy is it to switch courses?
So within the same university, it's possible. What they do is they measure your credits. So if you're, obviously the modules and everything is different. So if you want to change a stream altogether, they do. But then it depends on the kind of credits the other course has. And if they match, then you can switch. So that way it's, I mean, you'll have to repeat. So it's not a strict no-no, but it may not be the easiest thing to do either. Yes. So and it's the same when you look at shifting universities as well for the same case. So if you want to move universities, and so again, they look at your credits. So if you think that I'm in a B grade and I want to upgrade myself to a A grade in my second year, then they again look at your credits and they match your credits. And if you meet their requirements, they take your interview and then you're eligible.
Because there are lots of people who, you know, they want to try it out. I mean, it does happen that not everyone has that clarity, or maybe eventually go on, finish it, and then try something else.
So so I did my undergrad from Lancaster University in Accounting and Finance. So the way I entered college was that, so basically I'll tell you to all you guys that you have no clue what you're getting into. So after 3 years, after 3 years, I guarantee them that their overall personality development, their character building, and words like, you know, ownership, accountability, responsibility, they will teach you a lot. And you'll graduate with all those things.
Education abroad, especially the UK, gives you the openness of the mindset. The second thing, to add a bit of humor to it, is that I distinguish between Indian Standard Time and GMT is because time management. I used to see our professors be in class 5 minutes before the class would begin.
Just when you mentioned time management, that's been a big kind of challenge for I think all of us in school for the last 2 years doing the IB program.
Really?
Because it's a huge jump from doing the IGCSE or if you're coming from another school, the ICSE. And that's one of the skills you really need to learn in order to kind of balance doing the filling out your UCAS forms for the UK, handling your extracurriculars, and at the same time getting good grades. And I think that being able to do this in our first semester, being able to finish the application process really helped because now I can focus mainly on my academics because our final exams are in under 2 months.
Right.
So, as opposed to say the US application process
So
where
really a lot of multitasking
Yeah.
and you're already sort of learning to work under all that pressure.
One of the questions and aspects of foreign education in the UK and US our generation is slightly apprehensive about is once you reach there and once you've studied, what we've noticed is, what we've heard actually is that staying there, getting a job there, getting settled there is not as easy once you finish the graduation.
In terms of recruiting, you have structured recruiting and something which is non-structured. Structured is basically which is followed by investment banks, consulting firms, and non-structured is in which you proactively build your network and through your personal contacts. So if you start doing it right from the starting, like in my school as well, we started in the first week itself, they started talking about career services, they started talking about how to go meet the recruiters, how to make your CV and cover letter. So if you start early, you'll definitely get through.
In my first year of LSE, I actually, in the first year itself, I did an Easter internship with Goldman Sachs. It's like a 2-week program. These programs are not paid. It's difficult to get into always. But if you apply, so many people don't even know that first year has a program. So the minute you do it, you already have an upper edge. Then they fast track you. So I got fast track for the summer internship. So I did that and work hard in the summer internship because at the end of the summer internship, about 80% people often get jobs.
Right.
So that's when I got mine. And then, your third year you can actually enjoy because you're graduating with a job.
So when you go to the UK, how do we exactly manage our finances?
I think financial management is part of the learning process. And personally, I was in London, which is fairly expensive. So along the way, you find ways to reduce your weekly budget. You set a weekly budget, and you try your best to stick to it. You might have to perhaps sacrifice a day or two of going out, because London has a party culture, and I should really put it out there. And so I reduced my costs. I learned how to cook, so I reduced my eating costs. I got a cycle. I used to cycle around. London is a small city, so I reduced my travel costs. So you find ways along the way.
Besides sort of, just living and sort of the day-to-day, the khana, pina and all of that, what else did London offer you?
You have Chinatown in London. If you don't go too far away from London, the South Hall, where you have the signboards written in Punjabi. So
Yeah,
you see Indians
exactly.
in
The
Pakistan
familiarity will always be there.
So I think the cultural experience and I think the network of friends that I've made is something that's going to stay with me for the rest of my life.
Right.
And I think what I've taken back from my education abroad is an amazing sense of ethics, an amazing work ethic. When you go out and you meet with so many different people from different countries, these stereotypes, they vanish in your head.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I think the more than education, what you're getting as a person, that's I think in my opinion is far more important.
Right.
I think the place pushed me a lot. It made me get out of my comfort zone, and there was a lot of independence.
There's a lot of free concerts in the park, so please make sure that you guys attend as many free concerts as you can.
Right.
You so enjoy your life in addition to studying.
I
Don't
love
just
this
restrict
work hard,
yourself.
party harder
Yeah,
concept.
absolutely.
I mean, it's just the way to do it.
I think I've stopped saying I believe and I use the word more in my opinion because
see.
those are the changes
The
which
subtle
happens.
shift. Right.
Subtle shifts in cultural beliefs, yeah.
Enjoy the fresh air in the UK, especially the lovely parks.
I would just say just have fun and have a ball for those 3 years. Don't think about what you're getting into because there's going to be a lot of pressure after that on you, what you want to do in life. So just have fun.
And they're just thinking getting in is just the answer. You're just like shattering everything out here.
See, I think what I believe is, sorry, in my opinion, as you said, in my opinion, 50% of the learning is in class, but 50% the major for your all-round development is outside class. So keep your eyes, ears open, observe, meet new people, have a fantastic time. First year doesn't really count towards your grades, so just enjoy yourself in the first year.
Okay, last words. I have to give you the last word and we have to wrap on that.
Just on a lighter note, just brace yourself for the weather. It's going to be really cold and very wet. It's raining almost throughout the year. So just be ready for that, I think.
Right. Well, to every problem, there seems to be a solution. We do hope that some of your queries have been answered. And for all of you out there who've been looking to get some of those questions answered, well, you can always write into us and we're going to pose it to, well, this panel that we have here today. And of course, all the experts who've been stepping up to the plate to try and help you in any which way we can. For the moment, it's a wrap from all of us. Thank you all so much for taking our time to speak to us today.